Welcome to Hero Club members only.
The show where Nick Williams and George Primavera, the founders of Hero Club, talk about Hero Club, D&D, and whatever the hell else we want with whoever the hell else we want. I'm Nick Williams.
And I'm George Primavera, and let's do this. Yeah!
Welcome to Hero Club members only. Glad to have you. This is where we talk about all the things that we don't get to say on the show, 'cause that's not our thing. Welcome to Hero Club members only.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening again. This time it's me, Nick, and we have a very special guest today.
From The Boys Plus One and eating a fried bull's testicle on a video on my phone, Jack Quaid.
So I told Nick he could have fun with a third credit, and dear God, did he ever?
Very deep cut.
It's in
Very
my
deep
favorites on my phone.
Nick and I went on a cross-country road trip, and we went through Deadwood, the actual town of Deadwood, and they had bull testicles fried, I believe, Nick?
Yeah, prairie oysters or Rocky Mountain oysters, depending on
Rocky
where
Mountain
you are.
oysters. And I was,
oiled.
I was... no, not worth it at all. I was, I was 20 and willing to die, and
we both did it, but there's a video of you doing it.
And my reaction can be summed up as, "Oh, those are balls. Those are for sure balls."
Oh,
yes, that is for sure. I thought they'd be more like chicken nuggets or something. Like they look like chicken nuggets, but they're just balls. Like you can tell right away.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah, like if you've never eaten a testicle before, it's exactly how you think. It's exactly
I
how
mean,
you
for
think.
the few of you, for the very few of you who haven't
done it.
We know in the Venn diagram of D&D players and testicle eaters, there's a lot of you in the middle.
A lot of overlap.
Yes,
most
there. People overlap.
We're amongst you.
Yeah.
Gary Gygax famously said it was his favorite food.
Huh. And that's a D&D deep cut.
God.
So all of you people at home listening will probably know Jack, other than his many roles on TV and film, as Chuck from Hank Blackstone.
Hey, how's it going? It's me, Chuck. Now I'm in the podcast. Hey,
yeah.
aloha, oi. What's going
get
on?
That character work done.
Oh, yeah.
Bring in Chuck.
Here he is.
Jack looks up from a looking down position and just fully embodies the character 100%.
Oh yeah,
I am
super real method actor.
You guys aren't seeing him Daniel Day-Lewis the fuck out of this.
It's truly impressive what I'm doing over this Skype podcast call.
A little, yeah. We are all in our respective quarantines again, as per every episode of Members Only so far. Little known fact is that Jack really gets into character for Chuck. He stays in the voice for 24 hours ahead of time. We all have to call him Chuck.
I really wish that was true, not for anything I've done for TV or film, but specifically for a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I am full method.
Right, you do no homework for any other real job that pays, but for Hero Club, you do all the work possible.
For the boys, the cat.
Exactly.
Applesauce
the cat, yeah.
From Santa's Little Helpers, just a week of applesauce we got. That's all we had.
Yeah. With the boys, I'm just simply winging it. But for applesauce, I traveled to Tahiti because I figured that's where that cat was from and adopted from. I got to know the local cats
for 1 month, living in a box and eating old fish out of garbage cans in one bite until they were skeletons.
Totally, that's how cats eat.
That's how cats eat. If I've read any Heathcliffs, that's how cats eat.
Y'all read any Heathcliffs lately? Shit.
Oh, well, Jack, so one of the things we kind of do at the top of these with guests is ask them how they first got into D&D and what their first D&D experience was. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
No, I don't. No, of course I do.
Okay, great. We'll move on.
Great. No, I mean, like, to be very honest, I got into Dungeons and Dragons because of you guys. Because there was one, and you talked about it on the podcast before. I think it was a summer where Nick, my dad did not live in LA. He like moved for like a year somewhere else, and and my mom didn't live in LA either. So I basically just lived with you and your family for like every time I would come to LA for like about 2 years, I think.
Yes, you were basically like our lost son that stayed in the house in our
Oh,
guest
yeah.
room, and like my mom took under her wing like a broken chick that was fell from the nest.
You have the sweetest family ever, and also I think I stayed with Dylan's family as well. Dylan, who is our social media guy, associate producer. You know him. You all love him.
You all love him.
Anyway, so it was one of those summers I was living at your house, and I had simply no choice but to play D&D. But I had such a good time. I think my first character was like, correct me if I'm wrong. Here's the thing about me.
McDermott. I'll never forget. I'll never forget Chill.
Yes, Chill McDermott. He was like a rogue ranger or just a ranger?
Yeah, I think he was just a straight ranger, but you played him basically like a rogue, and he was like a cowboy, like gunslinger with 2 crossbows, handheld crossbows.
One of my dreams is to just be in a Western period. So I was like, okay, I'll just live out my fantasy in this game I'm playing with my friends.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
100%.
I was like Clint Eastwood in Good, Bad, and the Ugly, but I had crossbows instead of guns. And my name was Chill McDermott, and that was
you had a horse. I can't remember the name of who you.
Oh shit!
You had a horse who, like, none of us had horses, but you had a horse, and it was a huge deal. And then it died horribly because George threw it into a ravine or something.
Yeah, it was like a really. Oh my god, I forgot about that. It was like a really traumatic as well moment. And also, it was before I ever met George face to face. I specifically had a relationship with you over Skype as my dungeon master while I lived in Nick's family's house. That was like how we got to know each other.
That was a big a lot of people in our friend group who are now people in Hero Club. A lot of them met George for the first time and interacted with him for the first year of knowing him, all over Skype as a DM. Like that was
a DM. Yeah,
that was pretty much it. Yeah,
that is very weird. I never really thought of like the reverse engineering that really was, because I became good friends with all of you when I moved out here, and obviously was friends with you over Skype, of course. But like that I mean, yeah,
of course.
I hate these guys I play fantasies with.
And on our end, you were coming out every time you came out to visit. We were all like hard selling you, like Glengarry Glen Ross style, on moving out to Los Angeles.
Oh man, y'all close.
Always be closing.
We I think I looked you in the eye when I met you for the first time, and I was just like, move here.
You said move here. Yeah, I remember that. He grabbed me by both shoulders.
I was like, move here, you fuck. Move.
Oh man, no regrets.
100%. Well, so you played Chill McDermott, and that was we played that for the first for that whole summer. We had that campaign where I was Badger, the drunk bear, and we had like Dylan was my brother, and Marty played this horrible gnome character that was killed by my brother in real life.
We had our friend, I forgot about this. We had our friend Dylan Jones Tuba, known as Tuba, and he played, what was his name?
Longbow Jones.
Was it Longbow Jones? I remember a different...
TJ Pussyfoot.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
The first one. Longbow Jones was an American.
Longbow Jones was a different one, but TJ Pussyfoot was just like a prison tiefling.
He was a tiefling nightmare guy who was just bamfing all over the place and got his spine ripped out by my now fiance.
He did get his spine ripped out by your fiance.
I believe that was a name he chose, but it worked for TJ. And I remember I drew him. I drew like a drawing of TJ Pussyfoot. That's why I remember. I mean, the name was so remarkable and distinct. But it was, God, that was so much fun. It was really awesome.
Tuba is such like a mythological figure in his own right that having him basically be himself, but like with powers in our game was so fun.
Oh yeah, he came in just to disrupt shit.
Yes, he's a full chaos agent.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
yeah, 100%.
Well, Jack. And then, sorry. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You.
No, please.
Okay, all right. This is how Nick and I talk.
Wait, guys, I have an idea.
No, good. Well, I was gonna say, like, I should say that. Okay, so Chill McDermott was probably the most complicated character in terms of um, a class that I've ever played because
Yeah, ranger, outcasting, range.
I am not great at Dungeons and Dragons in the sense that I basically, when we record, I've gotten better, but when we record, I have to look to both of you and Dylan and Marty to basically tell me what to do. And if you notice, most of my characters, much like how you started off, Nick, are punchy punchies or stabby stabbies.
Yes,
so it's very
that is true.
It's very easy. I roll to punch. Does the punch hit? Cool. How much damage does it do? Cool. Move on.
Did the punch.
Next. Yeah, don't worry about slots.
Well, back then, I mean, that Chill McDermott was a 4th edition character, and all those characters are so complicated because you had like a Pokemon style move list that you had to deal with. That was split the tree.
Yeah, you have 40 options for your normal attack. Yeah.
Was that before 5th edition was a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
5th edition came out. We switched over to it like immediately when it came out.
When 5th edition came out, it was like the
Amerigon was our first 5th edition thing, I think. But it was all like 4th edition was that whole campaign was 4th edition, and it's so complicated, and you have like a massive moves list, and you can do like dailies and like ones that were really powerful, and then you had your like it was basically like every character got a spell list, but even if you were just every stabbing people, it was so frustrating.
This actually explains a lot because I didn't realize that we were playing a different edition back then because I got somewhat used to that. Like Dylan had to help me almost every turn as opposed to like every other turn now.
Right.
When I started playing 5th edition D&D and I didn't realize I was switching editions, I was just like, this seems different than when George was on Skype, but maybe it's just because he's here in real life.
Well, 5e is so much better and so much easier because you just say I attack. Like you don't. I mean, it's so much nicer. You just describe what you want, and it happens. Instead of being like I split the tree, I do the spinning knives of Agathor.
Yeah, I think
for my normal attack is the spinning knives of Agathor.
We all remember playing as Agathor with his spinning knives.
With his spinning knives.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was gonna say, just because you reminded me when you said Amerigon, the campaign that you guys played. I never actually played Amerigon, but I did roll up a character. He was
Lil Bo Peep.
Lil Bo Peep. I forgot.
Lil Lil Bo Peep. He was a gigantic
pit fighter.
There we go.
He was like a Mickey Rourke in the Fighter looking Goliath, whose fight name was Lil Bo Peep.
He was my first punchy, and he was like a former like super famous wrestler that now like fought in bars after America had gone through an apocalypse.
Like
and
chump change.
Yeah. And God, I wish one day we should just do that.
One day.
Or just have it, have it as a season.
Cannibalized it.
I just ripped apart all of the quest threads and just made them Hero Club seasons. Just like dissected it completely.
I believe in you, George. You can make something more out of this. I do. I believe in you.
I can keep doing it. I can keep going stuff. I love the Amerigon as a concept. I don't love the name. I don't know why I ever thought that was good. Amerigon? Shut up.
In your defense,
shut your mouth, me.
In your defense, it wasn't public until literally right now.
Oh my god!
It was for no one.
It was literally like at how am I going to remember the concept of this? America and it's gone.
It was your first magnum opus. That was like the first thing you were like, "This is my Rembrandt. This is my ultimate creation."
I went so crazy hard into like your wagon and how you could customize like your battle wagon. Like a whole,
we never. I don't think we even ever got a battle wagon. We never got that far into the campaign that we got one.
We'll go back one day.
We'll go back. We all have fun characters in that.
We should have a podcast called Battle Wagons. I'm just saying we should
Battle
just have
Wagons
one whole season about Battle Wagons.
We'll lock that in.
Or we should make a free mobile game called Battle Wagons. That's what it really sounds like.
Spend $20 to get a cannon for your wagon.
It's a freemium game. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I cut you
Oh,
off.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say there were a lot of really funny characters, that we all came up with for that, but I think my favorite was, Dylan's character, was, like, so the whole point of Amerigon was it was, like, a post-apocalyptic America, like, 200 years after the crash of, like, civilization, so everyone had very specific, like, I'm this now because of this part of society collapsing or whatever. And Dylan was a part of like Silicon Valley, and basically it had like everyone in Silicon Valley had just become these like mostly cyborg, like zero social like no social abilities, like hyper intelligent robot people. And so he spoke
Mhm.
entirely through a voice generator that he had on his computer. So
Right.
when he never talked in like with his normal voice. It was like he would type a thing out and it would be like, I think we should go this way. And he had like all these different insults that he had plugged in so he could just hit them immediately to like screw with all of us, which is
That's
great.
amazing.
Yep. Oh man, that was inspired, Dill.
Yeah, it was
For
so
when
good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Well, Jack, kind of like some behind the scenes stuff. I mean, we say at the end of every episode, but you're an executive producer on Hero Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
great. Which is really fun. You do a lot of people don't know this, but you do a lot of our kind of like guest acquisition and a lot of that stuff. And you got us our new space for Hank Blackstone, which is at Anonymous Content, which is really great.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of blown away always by what you guys did in terms of making D&D super accessible, not only to me, but to, an audience. And I just thought it was such a cool way to tell stories. And I don't know, it's just like I don't know. I just give you guys all the props in the world. This is me gushing over you.
Oh
But
man.
I think it was the first Blackstone season where at the end of it, I was just like, I feel like I just made a movie, like a full on movie. So I was like,
I
okay,
think
we
we
need to,
all thought that, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, we need to get this into a place where we're not recording in Nick's laundry room.
Right.
Uh, so
Nick's
that
laundry
Right.
room / bar.
because I know actors would want to do this, and I'm like, I just basically called people who I worked with or knew, and I knew would be down to give it a shot. And when Anonymous Content opened up its doors to us and gave us a recording space, it was just like, oh, come on, let's get everybody in here. And we've had some really cool guest stars this season who we've been lucky enough to have them come by and just play
Mhm.
around. And that's been so cool to have people come in who really like some people who have maybe played a little bit and some people who haven't played at all. And they come in, a lot of them are very nervous at first because they're like, what
Right.
is this? And then they all get into it so quick. And it's been kind of unanimous with everyone that's come in. And I kind of love seeing um, I don't think he'll mind if I talk about him, but like with like Anthony Starr, who
Right,
plays
yeah.
Homelander on The
Oh, he
Boys,
was so great.
he came in and he was like a little like, okay, I'm not sure what this is, but like it seems super fun. And then he just like full on just immersed himself in it and like approached it the way he would approach. He's such a good actor, and he approached it the way he would approach any role. It was like
He did
really
the
cool
work.
to see. He did the work, and he was having so much fun. And so it's just been so cool to, through you guys, introduce D&D to even more people. It's been awesome.
Yeah, we've had a lot of really fun guests this season, and they all. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's been such a big spectrum of people who are super into D&D already or have like never even heard of it. I mean, I think like Broden was so funny and so
Oh
good
my
on it,
god.
and he like I don't think had ever played before, but like he he just kind of like leaned so bravely into just I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want and just be a complete chaos agent, and it
Which
was
is the
so
funniest.
perfect.
My
It was
mom
so funny.
texted me in the middle of us recording this. My mom texted me and said, "That Broden guy sure is a handful. I love it."
He
With
is truly like it was so cool
uh,
that I mean we've been such huge fans of Anti Donna, his sketch group for years, and just to have him in our universe in any way was
what a
so
dream
cool.
come true.
It was
Yeah.
so
So
cool.
fun.
God,
Oh my God.
he is the coolest guy of all time. We just did that, like we got to meet them kind of through our sketch group Sasquatch, and getting to kind of see him in this setting just kind of unleashed was so awesome. Like it was really like watching Auntie Donna like on a deconstructed scale of just like
Was insane.
chaos. It was so
It
great.
was so cool. But yeah, I mean, like, what I love about what you guys do is that you create these worlds that people feel very comfortable jumping into, and whether or not that's like a cool guest or just like one of our friends or just us, like it's just been really fun, and particularly in times like this, like a nice way to escape a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
no kidding. Yeah,
Completely.
definitely.
A little bit.
Well, right now, like George, you're doing this Clear Veil campaign, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
really fun. And by the way, any listeners listening to this right now, DM us on Hero Club, and you can totally play in Clear Veil. We have had a lot of people join in from kind of all over the place who we just knew on Instagram or Twitter. Like our friends Trixie Wizard, who did that great art for us in Rift Rats.
Oh, yeah,
And
check out Trixie Wizard. They're fantastic, and they, in addition to Marty's commissions, which you should absolutely check out at martinsmenagerie.com, you should also check out Trixie Wizard. They are amazing. You can find them
they're
online.
super fun. And
Oh,
they've
and
been
a shout
playing.
out to Tectonic Cyborg, who gave us some fan art the other day.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it's
Tectonic
yes.
Cyborg.
yeah,
Thank you. That looks so good, man.
Tectonic_Cyborg. You're one of my favorites.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming
it's
man. I
really,
shouldn't
really
assume man.
cool.
Thank you, Tectonic Cyborg. I don't know
It
who you are,
super,
but
super cool to
amazing.
see people kind of like take our characters who are completely in an audio medium and kind of imagine them the way they want, which is the best. I mean, that's like
My favorite.
exactly what we want. I mean, if it like we will aggressively post about anything, any doodle any person does related to Hero Club in any way. But so to get back to Clear Veil, you're now
Yeah,
doing this
DM
fun
us.
thing, and truly DM us, and you can either do play a game where George is DMing, or Dylan is now hopping into DM a few games too.
Yeah, the
And it's kind
demand
of this
was
big fun hub world.
the
I'm
demand
gonna
for these
hop on. I gotta hop on at
so
least
crazy.
once. I've been busy the
You
last
gotta,
few weeks,
yeah.
but I gotta come on. I'll just play like one session at least. It'll be so much fun. Yeah,
We're
come hang
doing
with us.
we're doing this really cool thing. It's like a hub world, so all the missions are one-offs, and the parties are constantly rotating, so your group won't ever be the same. And it's like, things affect other things in the universe, but like not to a degree that you really need to keep track. It's just there if you want it. So it's the perfect level for anybody who just wants to play a casual game, or if somebody wants to get really into a world. So just come check it out.
Yeah,
It'll be
it's
great.
been really fun. I've like hopped in as like really random characters that I haven't been able to play before. It's
I'm
been great.
DMing 4 games this week.
Yeah,
Wow.
I dropped it
you
down from
basically made
5,
it your
and
full job.
I've been doing 4 every week. Dylan's gonna DM 2 on the weekend, so we're gonna be up to 6 games a week DMing.
Whoa, my God.
Ay,
Yeah.
ay, ay.
Come
Yeah.
hang with us. That
Come hang
sounds
with us,
awesome.
y'all.
Seriously,
And
we are
spots go
down
fast,
to play.
so yeah, grab
Yeah.
it. Get in there.
Spots go fast.
Spots go
Spots
fast.
go fast.
Seriously, it does. It tends to book like within an hour of me
Oh,
sending
wow.
out the schedule email.
Jack, is there a type of character other than the punchy stabby stabby that you have ever thought about playing? I mean, in Hero Club or otherwise, and it doesn't have to just be like class or anything. It can be like just a type of personality you're drawn to, or anything like that.
Oh man, I think it's been so fun whenever I think Applesauce was such a great little departure from. I know he was an NPC, but for me, I just love that when you guys give me a prompt, like, all right, you're going to be playing a house cat. Like usually George will, call me and just be like, you're going to be playing a house cat, and then just me trying to come up with like, okay, what's this guy like? So I really loved playing him, but I think in the future, I don't know if I get better at just, classes and just knowing what I'm doing generally. I think I'd want to play somebody who uses magic in some way, play just kind of an aloof wizard of some sort.
Well, you do have your famous party persona, Party Wizard.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You could make.
Let me. I'll explain it
possible
because
to make.
Jack has to deny that he is party wizard, or allegedly
No
party
relation.
wizard. No relation. But there is occasionally a mysterious wizard who appears at parties when Jack goes to the bathroom for like an hour, where
Yeah, I'm taking a
basically
very long dump.
basically I'm just gonna say Jack for the sake of simplicity, but we there's an implied denial. But basically
Sure.
there were these we had like this medieval fantasy party because we used to do a ton of costume parties all the time, and now we can't because we can't be in the same room. But the
Yeah, cool.
we had this fantasy themed party and a costume party, and Jack was this big wizard, and he taught himself like minor sleight of hand magic tricks that all had to do with tiny bottles of booze that were hidden in pockets within his flowy glowing robes. And as he got drunker, the magic tricks got both more aggressive and more impressive because we were also all drunk. So it would be like he'd what is an example, Jack, of like
So
one of your magic phrases?
as you said, I left halfway through the party, and I guess Party Wizard came in to the party after that. But from what I've heard from people who were there,
Yeah, third person account.
if you are drunk enough, you will believe magic is real. And people, they were impressed. I've heard. I also heard that he showed up at a New Year's Eve party. He's also, I don't know. There's like a YouTube channel out there, maybe. Who knows?
I just remember seeing, I just remember you throwing out one hand and then in the other hand extending it, and there was just a tiny bottle of Kraken. You said like Alaka Kraken or something along those lines, and
I
then,
believe
chugged it.
from polling the patrons of that party, I believe their favorite was Expecto Patron, and Party Wizard would reveal a little miniature airplane bottle of Patron.
And basically ice people with tiny airport bottles of alcohol.
Oh yeah, back when icing was a thing.
Yes, that was in the time of icing.
Wait, icing's not a thing anymore?
Well, especially not now.
Dylan's
George,
been icing
you've just been
me daily.
every
telling me
day.
I don't
You
have
got
to do
ice.
it?
Chug it.
Dylan ices me 6 times a day.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
my God.
I would
Can't
love
get
to
away.
see you play a wizard, Jack. That would be super funny, I think.
I mean,
You'd be great at that.
I can probably like call this guy to get some inspiration, but maybe I could like portray Party Wizard in a
In-game,
campaign or
as like a
something.
Yeah, write a
drunken,
letter and see if he'll give you the approval.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Maychan Press has like a whole book on alcohol themed classes, so maybe there's like a fun drunk wizard in there that you could completely use for that. That'd be a 1-to-1 probably.
Thank you, Mage Hand Press.
Thank you, Mage Hand Press. You guys are so awesome.
School of Merriment or something where you can just make alcohol appear in people's drinks.
Well, we have ideas for sure.
We have
I have
great
to.
ideas.
I'm gonna have to call him to get the rights. But sure.
Because he is litigious. He sues everyone who
Oh,
we'll probably
constantly.
get a citation just for mentioning his name on this podcast.
He's a party wizard, but he loves suing people.
He's really a civil court wizard, but who is drunk on the weekends.
Civil court wizard, baby.
Oh my god.
Well, George, do we want to go into our fun game segment here?
Should we launch into a segment that we're calling D&D Travel Edition?
Ooh,
Hey!
That's what we're calling. George and I, when we were in college and bored all the time, we would bring D20s with us everywhere we went, and we would play these extremely loose, kind of bare bones versions of D&D games where one of us would DM for the other one, and it would just be a D20, and if you beat a 10 or something, you would succeed, and if you didn't beat a 10, you would fail, with basically no bonuses, playing ourselves in random crazy scenarios. I remember and usually it was wherever we were, so we'd be waiting in line at the cafeteria in college, and it would just be like, the cafeteria is on fire, where do you go? And we would just go from there, rolling D20s to see how long we survived. And now we're doing it on this podcast. So George, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I have a crazy scenario just off the top of my head, but if you
So
guys want to
excited.
throw a suggestion out before we do anything, like I'm super down with that as well.
I defer to you, man. You're the
Yeah,
dungeon
go
master.
for it,
Let's do
buddy.
this.
Okay. All right, sure. Okay. So let's do it. Uh we open up on Nick L. Williams. Uh a man who is wearing a backpack and is wearing traveler's clothes, a hat pulled down tight over his head, and has a weapon at his hip. Nick, what is your weapon?
Oh man,
Off the cuff, you
baseball
have
bat with
one.
a big nail on it.
Okay,
Solid.
great. Baseball
Last
bat
of
with
its
a big
style.
nail. What do your clothes look like? Just so we can get a
Well,
picture.
based off of baseball bat with a big nail in it, I'm gonna go with the classic Marvel disguise outfit of hoodie under cool leather jacket with jeans and boots and a hat that matches my hoodie,
Great. So you have
but does not have a logo on it. A blank baseball hat that
no
matches my
logo.
hoodie.
You know the ones they sell.
The ones
Yeah,
that they sell. So I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there's no logo. Who would ever sell that hat? That's such
I
a
don't know.
I think
never
it's
mind.
possible, but like you wanna.
So
Anyway.
dumb. Find a logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Nick, you have flown to Eastern Europe, deep in the to a very small town. You have gotten equipment for a few days journey, and you are traveling far out into the Ukrainian wilderness to
Ooh.
face off with your immortal foe, Jack Quaid, who previously had sent you a letter, told you to meet him at a certain location deep in the forest of Ukraine. Uh,
As he
uh,
does.
and as you are
As
coming
Jack Quaid is
upon,
wont to do.
as you are coming upon, to conclude your final showdown, because it must end with one of you alive and one of you dead,
Mm.
as showdowns are wont to do.
There can be only one.
Yes.
Nick, as you walk up the hill with just sparser and sparser plant life, you see a massive cathedral looming above you. And as you approach the steps, what do you do?
I check for traps. Because Jack Quaid loves traps.
Roll a little,
And I know
roll an investigation check.
botch.
There's no trap.
Great. I step confidently up the stairs.
Jack, what trap is on the stairs?
A rope that catches his leg, and it's also attached to a boulder on the other side that makes him go way the fuck up in the air.
Okay.
by his ankle, with a rope around his ankle.
Nick steps on a tripwire, and a rope snaps up around his ankles and pulls him 30 feet into the air.
Whoa!
Ah. And then you hear a slow clapping as Jack enters.
Well, 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 you fell for the old rope trick, you fuck. I know we both live in Los Angeles, but thank you for meeting me in the forests of Ukraine, you fuck.
Jack, what are you wearing, and what is your weapon?
I'm wearing a giant purple coat with big ol' 70s collars. Maybe it's bedazzled. I'm wearing shoes that have spikes on them, like basically a whole sole full of spikes. My hair is, up. It's spiky.
You have an updo.
I got an updo. I basically look like one of like Biff's minions from Back to the Future Part 2.
Great.
Perfect.
And
you have those really angular sunglasses with tiny slits of lenses in them.
Yes, for sure. And my weapon, inspired by Joe McDermott, is 2 crossbows.
Oh no!
I basically look like a bedazzled Van Helsing from the 70s.
Nick, what do you say in response as you swing from the cathedral ceiling?
Fuck you, you bedazzled Van Helsing.
Accurate description.
Okay. Now for the sake of supernaturalism, both of you, I want you to think of a superpower that you have or some kind of magic power.
Okay.
Think of it. Think of it. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4. I'm going to ask you both in succession. 2, 1. Jack, what's your power?
Turn into any animal.
Nick, what's your power?
Grow hair to infinite lengths and control it like whips.
All right. Both of you roll initiative.
20.
8. Fuck.
Oh, Jack, you may move first in the combat order. And the encounter between Jack and Nick begins.
All right, y'all. I turn into a spider monkey, still holding my 2 crossbows, and I bounce back and forth through the opening of the cathedral like Mario does when he goes up 2 walls, all the while shooting multiple arrows at Nick, who is dangling in the wind.
Okay, roll 2 attacks with the crossbow.
No
8.
acrobatics, Greg?
No acrobatics check. He's a spider monkey. He can do that.
8 and 16.
8 and 16. The 16's a hit. Nick, you take 5 damage out of your 50 HP.
Oh my god.
Jack, you also have 50 HP.
Ah! That's my spider monkey self.
Yes.
Great. Nick's beard begins to grow at an alarming rate and up to 30 feet and whips at the spider monkey, trying to grapple it.
Roll an attack to grapple the spider monkey Jack.
7.
Jack, roll an opposed check.
19.
Unable to find the lightning fast spider monkey, Nick is still dangling from the ceiling. Jack.
Is the situation getting hairy for you? Okay. I go over to the rope that is attached to the boulder that's pushing him up. I tug on it. Okay, I turn into a gorilla, very strong. I tug on it real hard so that he flies up into the air.
Okay, roll an athletics check. So just roll that d20 with your big
3.
gorilla self. A 3. The rope snaps off in your hand, and the whole structure falls. Nick does fall 30 feet down to the ground and takes 5 fall damage, but he is on his feet.
Ooh.
Yes.
As a reaction, Nick's hair grows into a parachute to feather fall.
Yes, fine, absolutely. Yes. So
he lands
Nick,
in a 3-point superhero stance.
down onto the ground. Do you say anything cool?
Nope.
Jack in gorilla form snaps his fingers and kicks the ground as if to say, darn it, that old trick again.
Nick, your turn.
Nick takes an action to cover himself in thick braided hair as an extra armor.
Ah, yes, your AC will go up from 10 to 12.
Haha!
Cool.
Like
Cool.
Robin Williams level
Williams.
of hair coverage.
And now Jack?
Oh, man. I turn into a rhino and I charge him.
Okay, roll an attack roll.
14.
14. Nick, you get slammed back 15 feet as you crash into the cathedral wall. You take 10 damage.
Oh my god.
Ha! As the old saying goes, rhino's always better than hair.
Oh, man.
But did you hear the part about baseball bat with nail in it? Nick
No.
takes out his baseball bat with a nail in it
Nick,
and swings it at the rhino's face.
Roll that attack.
2.
Oh, the nail hits the rhino nail side up, so the nail has no factor in the attack whatsoever, and the bat collides uselessly against the rhino hide.
No, I didn't hear about that part because it's dumb.
God.
Damn it.
Jack!
So he's on my like back.
No, he's on your facing off right to the front of you.
Oh, so he's directly in front of me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I turn into a venomous spider and I crawl into his shirt in an attempt to bite him.
Okay, roll a both of you roll a grapple check opposed. Oppose each other.
17.
Ooh.
4.
Oh no. Nick takes the spider and throws it onto the ground. Nick, you may attack the spider.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to smush his ass.
Is that a spider scream? Smoosh him.
9.
9. The spider darts away just in time.
Oh, skitter.
Skitter. Jack, what do you do in response?
Oh, man. Okay. I skitter directly below him, and then I become an elephant so that he's on my back. No. I become a wild stallion.
Would you like to try to
With
buck
2
him?
eyes.
Yeah, I'll try to buck him.
Okay, roll an opposed check, guys.
10.
Oh, roll again. Nick is trying to tame Jack's stallion form.
Yeehaw!
6.
13.
Oh,
yes.
Nick maintains his hold on the bucking stallion.
Nick attempts to break the stallion's neck from on top.
Roll an athletics. Roll that check. Both opposed, I guess.
4.
6.
Nick, you hear some cracking of horse vertebrae as you pull back as hard as you can. Jack will take 5 damage.
Oh no, my horse vertebrae!
Where are you guys at now, damage-wise, health-wise?
Oh shit.
Jack, you're at 40, I believe.
Okay,
And
let me.
Nick, you're
I'm at 35.
35.
Okay.
All right. So Jack's in the lead so far.
Okay. Okay, so I have a cracked horse neck with Nick on top of me. Okay, I attempt to buck him off one last time so that he flies into a tree.
Okay, got it.
I'm going
Grapple
by
check.
like Beast Boy Looney Tunes rules.
Flies
and
into
I
a
like it.
pillar. You guys are in a cathedral, so flies into like a stone pillar.
Sure, let's do that.
Got it.
Are we grapple checking?
No, yes, grapple checking. Yes, sure.
Oh, botch.
13.
Okay, Nick, not only do you maintain your hold, you can take a free attack and then take your turn from Jack's
Great.
botch.
Swinging the nail with bat with nail in it wildly above his head, Nick takes 2 big whaps on Jack's horse face.
Okay, go ahead.
Not whaps.
2 whaps.
5 and 15.
Okay, one of them is a complete whiff as Jack's Bronco form is whipping around, and then the second collides firmly into his shoulder. Jack, you take 8 damage.
Okay, I'm at 32 points of health. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta do something. Okay. Where is he right now?
On your back.
Riding you.
Oh my god. I turn into a Venus flytrap. No, I turn into like a
plant.
piranha plant. Yeah, from like Mario or.
You can't turn into a plant. That's not an animal.
Oh, you're right.
You
You're right.
specifically
You're
said
right. You're
animal.
right. It's
Say
flora.
animal.
It's flora. You're right.
Not only.
Okay. I turn into a cheetah and I dart off real quick to
Wow,
plot my next attack.
I mouthed cheetah to myself just
Oh,
because I
cool.
was guessing. That was really weird. Okay,
Nice.
you turn to a cheetah and attack.
Grapple check still?
You can
No,
keep
he's
that.
running away.
Oh yeah, keep
Running
that
away
grapple
to-
check.
To plot my next move.
Oh.
3.
Do I roll
yes.
as well? Okay. 17.
17. The cheetah breaks free and disappears into the cathedral.
I hate that. Nick.
Where am I, Nick?
Echo.
Where am I? Cheetah Jack is sneaky.
Nick grows 6 Doc Ock style arms out of hair and climbs up into the rafters of the cathedral.
Roll a perception check, Nick.
11.
You spot Jack. Jack, where were your cheetah? Where were you hiding as a cheetah?
I was hiding. Oh man, it's a cathedral.
Yeah.
I was hiding in the confession booth. Oh, is it Catholic? I don't know. I guess it's Catholic.
Sure.
I was hiding in the confession booth. Yeah, I'm about to pounce.
Great. Both of you roll an attack at the same time as you lunge towards each other, as you make eye contact.
19.
Oh,
9.
oh, not only is Nick gonna take 10 fall damage, he will also take 5 clawing damage as Cheetah Jack takes him to the ground.
Claw, 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 claw.
Nick tries to choke Cheetah Jack out with a barrage of hair from his beard and head.
Roll that attack.
No, I'll save that sound effect if that works.
Yeah.
19.
Jack, you take 5 more damage and you are grappled as you start feeling hair constrict around your neck. What do you do in response? And what HP are you guys at?
That's what I call my whip stash.
And I will respond by saying, I'm at 27 points of health.
I'm at 20.
Ooh, okay, we're getting down to the wire here.
Okay. I turn into a tick. And I try to go hide myself within his hair and bite him in order to give him Lyme disease.
Roll a stealth check.
Hoo-hoo.
So just D20. That's the only thing we have.
5.
Nick, you, between 2 fingers,
Oh,
have
no.
Jack the tick.
I try to smush him with my 2 fingers.
Roll, Nick and Jack, roll an opposed athletics check as Tick Jack tries to stretch both fingers up like Hercules.
2.
7.
Appropriate. Nick, you feel a squish. Jack, you may turn into any animal, but you do take 15 squish damage.
Oh, squish damage. Oh, shit. Fuck. What was I at before?
You're at 27, I think.
Oh, thank you.
So 12, right?
Okay, I'm at 12. Okay, oh, man. I turned into a blue whale in an attempt to break his hand.
Great. As you turn into a blue whale, becoming massive and filling the entire cathedral, you hear the door open at the other end, and George walks through, holding a paper in his hand, and shouts to both of them, "Guys, I found the solution to your problem. You needn't fight for..." And then Blue Whale Tail crushes him into squirt. Just red.
Good.
Did you hear what he said?
No, nope. I'm glad he's dead.
Let's keep fighting.
I'm a whale.
Nick, roll. Both of you roll grapple opposed checks to see if.
Can I say Nick is going to try to go into the whale's mouth and kill him from the inside.
Okay, both of you roll opposed checks.
Well, by the way, with this opposed check, I am attempting to eat him.
Yes, got it.
18.
9.
Yes!
Oh no! So Nick tries to dive through the baleen teeth of the giant blue whale, but doesn't get all the way through, and Jack's jaw comes slamming down. Nick loses both of his legs at the knee, and is now in his mouth. And Nick, you take 15 damage.
All right, I'm at 5 health. Nick super sands with all of his hair at once, exploding outward in a supernova of disgusting tangly hair.
Roll an attack with advantage because you are inside of Jack.
Nick, just for me, if this works, can you yell Propecia as your as your Super Saiyan saying?
Looks like I'm gaining the upper hand.
Oh God!
15.
George's soul is sent to hell from being near that.
15.
15. There's a poof as we see out in a cathedral a blue whale just suddenly out of every orifice just poof, hair just explodes out.
Oh wait, hold on. I need to do the same thing again. It's the same. You keep putting hair in my mouth.
Yeah. Jack, you will take 15 damage as hair explodes from everywhere on your whole self. You have one reaction before your body succumbs to the hair.
Okay. I attempt to. Okay, hold on. I see a very spicy cocktail on the floor of the cathedral. And I attempt to drink it to not only wash Nick down my gullet, but to give me intense stomach acid so that he gets basically burned alive in there.
Yeah, George had walked in with...
He doesn't have thumbs.
Yeah, you will have disadvantage to drink the cocktail,
I'll take it.
But George had been carrying a very acidic Bloody Mary that he happened to set down as he had waved his the scroll in the air. So go ahead and try to, with disadvantage, drink that cocktail.
One of George's famous extra Tabasco Bloody Marys.
Extra Tabasco, extra Worcestershire.
He always travels with one in the Ukraine.
With disadvantage? Okay.
So roll twice, take the lower.
6.
It's spicy, and you're in a little bit of distress. Nick, do you try to finish Jack?
Of course I do.
How do you try to finish Jack?
All at once, all of the hairs just like constrict back down, attempting to bisect him in a million different directions.
Okay, roll it.
Get it!
7.
Not only is it a failure, but Jack is actually able to swallow Nick into his stomach acid. Nick, both of you roll opposed grapple checks. Nick, if you fail, you are shuttled into the stomach. If you succeed, you stay in Jack's esophagus.
17.
Botch.
No. Nick, what is your esophagus attack? What is your whale esophagus finisher strike?
Nick makes Wolverine claws out of his hair on his knuckles.
Sure.
Of course.
And just goes to town on Jack's uvula.
It takes a solid 10 minutes of getting through, but finally Nick emerges from the top of the whale, not the blowhole, but the top of the whale. And Jack returns to his human form, weak and broken, but still barely clinging to life. Nick stands over him.
I thought Ukraine would be the perfect place to become a whale. But you have bested me, Nick L. Williams on Instagram.
That's right. 720 followers and counting, bitch. And Nick goes to finish the job.
How do you kill Jack?
By periodically poking him with the nail all over the place for the next 2 hours.
God.
Ow!
Wow.
Ow! Ow! George, loop that for 2 hours.
Yeah, I got it. We're just gonna... That'll go under it, Jack, if you wouldn't mind
Just
keeping
loop
that
it
up.
for 2 real-time hours. Ow! 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 Ow!
Finally,
Ow.
Jack
Ow.
succumbs to the tiny nail pokes.
Nick, his life's goal complete, commits seppuku on the altar of the cathedral.
All is quiet. And then we just we pan out from the cathedral and we see Marty, who just checks something off of a notebook and gets into a cab and in Marty's voice says, "All according to plan," and drives off into the sunset.
All according to plan.
Nick Fury's in his cab and he goes, I heard you like making plans.
I'm going to talk to you about
join
an
the
initiative.
Yeah.
Great job, guys. Hey, Nick, you bested Jack in single combat.
That was tough.
Jack, well fought.
Being any animal form is a cool power.
I thought I won as soon as Nick said that his power was hair, but I guess I couldn't. Luck was not on my side.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah.
Fear the beard.
Fear the beard, y'all.
So that was
Well
lots
done,
of fun.
sir.
So next time you guys are traveling with your friends or in a location where all you got's a D20 and a whole bunch of time, play a little D&D Travel Edition.
Also, there's a D20 app. There's a lot of D20 apps. That's what I was just using.
Yeah, you just Google Dice Roller.
It's stupid easy to do this.
Google Dice Roller. You don't even have to click on a website. It literally comes up on Google, and it's great.
Well, should we do a couple listener questions?
Yeah,
Ooh.
please, let's do it.
Okay.
I was sad because I thought it was almost over, which I guess it still is, but
It is
this
still
is great.
almost over.
It still is. Stay sad.
So stay
this
sad
one's
now.
from Shrub92. It's for George and Jack.
Ooh.
Oh.
What's it like collaborating on building antagonist NPCs? I imagine it's an interesting balancing act and pretty different than just rolling up a regular character sheet. Jack, did you bring the character to George and then George worked him into the plot, or vice versa?
Wow. Great question.
I guess we're talking about. It's a great question. I guess we're talking about specifically with me as an antagonist.
Yeah. So, what antagonists have you played, Jack?
Really, the biggest one I think I've played was oh my god, Captain Nicholas Blackbriar in Here There Be Monsters.
The carnivore.
Yes.
Well, one of the greatest characters ever. An antelope who was the captain of a all-lion crew because he ate animals.
No, the rules of the ship were he was a prisoner on it first, and then he killed and ate the captain, and by pirate law, that means he is now captain.
Yes.
And so I have a whole predator crew, and I am technically a prey animal who is the captain of them.
So in this scenario, I can confidently say the carnivore was 100% Jack's idea. And we just worked him into. And I think maybe did you collaborate?
I think
I had no
I
involvement.
had come up with the idea of an antelope who was the captain of a lion crew, and that was the full involvement on our end. And then Jack took it completely down like a really, really incredible path after that.
Jack's whole thing, the only things that I would give him for that were general goals. For each session that he would do, like your goal is to blank this. And then mostly I would let Jack kind of make his own choices. I would give him certain big magic items that I'm like, hey, when you feel like it's appropriate to use this, use it. And if you haven't used it at a certain point, I'll tell you to use it. Which is, if you listen to, go way back into Here There Be Monsters episode, I think 5, Blackbriar uses like a hard light gauntlet that creates like a hard light bridge for his minions to run across the ocean.
Oh yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah, so that was like Jack's last ditch attempt to attack the fleeing. What was your ship called? Oh my god,
it was called the Briar Patch. No, Briar Patch. That was
yours.
Old Wives'
Tale
was
the
your
Briar
ship.
Patch. The Old Wives' Tale. Yeah, but he was sending his minions over from the Briar Patch to the Old Wives' Tale, and it would have been a whole nother fight had the bridge not been dispelled. But that was almost entirely Jack had like
you came up with that great voice and backstory.
I basically was just like, I love Jaws, so I'm just like, I am literally just going to I just studied the Quint monologue where he's talking about the USS Indianapolis, and then I wrote a little like USS Indianapolis-esque monologue for myself to talking all about how Captain Blackbriar took control of his ship and what he did to the former captain. And I just kind of used that as like a thing I could go back to just to kind of get into character as we recorded. The thing about what's so interesting is that like you guys basically told me like, okay, you're this captain, you're going to be like one of the big bads for this season. And I got really excited because I haven't really done that before. But it's like, what's so funny is that like I rolled terribly every time that I played. So and that was just luck.
True.
Yeah. So like I had this whole like grand thing that I came up with, but you can never prepare for what's gonna happen once the game actually gets going. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be this imposing force. But if you don't roll well, you're kind of not. I had my moments, but
there were a couple of great moments. You were definitely I think what you ended up being was a really dope scourge that kept plaguing their trip.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's like the rolling the math kind of got us to like, okay, that's his role in the season, which was so interesting. Like he could have been the big bad if he had rolled higher.
He could have been the worst thing ever to happen. He could have killed a character, and instead, he ended up being like a really fun like henchman that won't die, kind of the
well, and like a great role playing foil for Drake. I feel like because there's kind of like a great like he was like a very awesome exact opposite as like a captain in like a really fun way, where it was like these are the two ways that like pirate captains can be. There's like fear based, and then there's like this family, and
Totally.
it's like those two opposing viewpoints going at it, and it was really cool. I thought it made for a really interesting role play back and forth for both of our characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when Jack is an NPC, the process we go through is a little different. Usually NPCs I need more specific things out of. So NPCs I'll typically give roadmaps of what I need from them, or like beats I really want them to hit, or quests I need them to give, etc. But
Which are
like
sometimes completely thrown out
which are
by
sometimes totally
actors.
thrown out by the PCs. That's true. And then I have to
But
really
as
work
long
with the
as
NPC at the table. Yeah.
yeah, and at the table you kind of like say like, "Hey, I just need you to make sure you give this one tidbit of information, but give it however you want and as easily as you want."
Yeah.
Or make it as hard on the players as you want, as you feel you should. And it's really interesting. I think we actually kind of like I feel like we got that a little bit with we have Scott Foster on from Crazy
Oh yeah.
Ex-Girlfriend, and he
Yes.
was like interrogating us, and we had this kind of like really interesting back and forth with him where he was kind of like we were kind of doing this dance of like how much information do we each want to tell each other, and I think it was kind of fun to like we were lying and then he was lying and then we kind of like gave a little bit and then he gave a little bit. It was like this kind of fun choice that he was making on what he actually wanted to tell us and vice versa, which was really cool.
Yeah, do you have
um
any memorable things from NPCs or antagonists you've played besides Blackbriar and Applesauce, Jack? Or
Well, I love playing NPCs because I really like collaborating with you, and I think it's super
it is a
fun.
lot of
Like
fun.
something that the listeners don't really get to see is that so you have the party, but all of the NPC characters usually like go off with George for a little powwow in a separate room to be like, okay, so when you come in, you're gonna do this. That's my favorite thing. It's so much fun.
It is we do like a fun pre-brief of like,
Yeah,
okay, team, we're all DMing this session together because we all know the plot of the episode and the PCs don't.
yeah,
it's really I love
sometimes very scary
that.
for players watching the powwow happen, because I'll sometimes see like not hear but see someone go like, "Oh shit," and I'll just be like, "Oh no, something really bad's gonna happen."
Yeah.
It's super, super fun. Yeah, and
Um,
even, like, in our latest, season this just kinda reminded me of it. In our latest season of, Blackstone, there are
Paid
a
back in
lot
spades.
of, Paid Back in Spades. There are a few moments where Hank and Charlie are separate or having things that, the other character wouldn't necessarily know is happening to, the other character. So what we do in the room is one of us puts on headphones with some music and,
Usually some dope bossa nova or great like old school Sinatra playing.
yeah, while the other person is having a dream, like if Charlie's having like a dream that like Hank doesn't know about, Nick will sit in the room listening to bossa nova while I fully have my moment with George, and then we switch, and we have no idea what happened. So we
Yeah,
try to
It's really
keep it
fun.
as it's super super fun. I don't
It
know if that
makes for
answered your
really
question about
interesting.
NPCs, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I think so. We have one more. This one's from Jeffrey, friend of the show. He was actually in Here There Be Monsters and killed by you, I'm pretty sure,
his
as
by his
the
crew, yeah.
jackalope.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he
Um,
always wanted you guys to tell him stories.
yes. And he betrayed us. He was like a real Lando Calrissian
He
in
was a
that
big
episode.
Lando. What
Oh
what
yeah.
was his jackalope named?
Oh god, I can't remember. I
Oh
think it was
god.
Jack.
The Jacked Rabbit was his bar.
Yeah, I
Oh
can't
my
remember.
god. Is that
He's gonna be so upset. Well, I'm
Oh, he
reading
is
his
gonna be
question.
so upset. Yeah, read his
Oh
question.
Sorry,
no.
Jeffrey.
I'm so sorry,
Oh,
Jeffrey.
man.
I'll text him.
Michael.
Oh yeah.
Michael Hopscotch. That's what it was.
That
I
was
got
it,
it.
Michael
Yes,
Hopscotch.
I got it.
Oh my
Oh, because
god,
I had to
I'm
say
so
like,
sorry,
"Hello,
Jeffrey.
Michael." Like I don't know. I remember
Is
saying
that
that.
Yes.
Michael?
That
Yeah, right.
Michael?
So his question is, has a character on Hero Club you've played ever surprised you with how they reacted to something George threw at you?
Ooh.
Mm.
Who's answering that?
I guess
I
guess
think that's for
all
Jack
of us?
and I probably
Yeah,
because we
yeah, go
both
for it.
been players. And
Nick,
you
you
can
go
say
first.
something that surprised you with how we reacted to it.
Yes, I will. I have a
George.
great one. So you two
Um,
first.
I think that my biggest kind of like character swing was like as Jeremiah. I don't think that like in
Oh yeah.
Adversary, I think we like there were a few things there that George kind of threw at us where I was like, this is kind of against what who Jeremiah is, but he's taking all this kind of like absurd new information and processing it in a really weird way. And that was really fun. I really like doing that in shows where it's like, here's like a thing that George is giving, and I'm gonna take it, and it will hurt me as a character, but it's way more interesting. Um, and I just think that I think maybe an example was probably when you maybe it was just like how we came together as a family. Maybe I think that like you kind of
Oh,
put
how
these
all
situations
the
together.
characters surprised, yeah, the role play of you guys all hated each other, and I think what I anticipated also was you guys becoming, like, begrudging allies and respecting each other,
Yes,
and
that's what I also
what
was
actually
expecting.
happened was you all became, like, each other's family. It was
Yes.
very oh, man, that I remember. Yeah, we all cried at
It
that
turned
finale real
I
hard.
really we all cried in that last episode, and I really don't think that I mean, I really wasn't expecting to, have that kind of emotional connection between the characters, and it really became like a father son and daughter situation
Yeah.
with Jeremiah, which is really interesting because I kind of like in the beginning, like borderline was like hitting on Ember and like really hated Elias. Like there was just like so many weird things going on with like our character chemistry. So I think that one surprised me big time.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, Jack, with like Chuck?
I think my biggest surprise, honestly, was just like when that first Blackstone season, kind of like what you were saying with Adversary, like how emotional I got at the
Oh,
end.
yeah, dude, yeah. I mean, that
We
was
all did,
it was like
you
a
know.
when we all finished Blackstone, I remember looking at you 2 and all 3 of us being like and Dylan and Marty as well, all of us looking at each other like, "Man, that, like, felt why do we all feel like a conclusion and an ending?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think, everybody who does a voice on the show obviously is an actor in some
Mhm.
way or another, and everybody takes this really seriously. So I
Yeah.
think that in terms of like character surprises, I don't know if I've ever been like necessarily surprised because I think that if a character is strong enough, which everyone tries to make their character as strong as possible, that whatever happens and whatever decision they make is what is supposed to happen.
Mhm.
And we all kind of trust that now.
Yes.
So, but I think like I didn't realize how swept up in it I would get. Basically, I get as swept up as I do when like I do something that's like a live action show or a movie. It's
Completely.
that was my big surprise. George, what about you? Anything that like you threw at us that you were really surprised by?
Yeah, I've
How
got a
we reacted.
I've got a game moment that just really shocked me as a DM that I had to just change everything on the fly. Like, this is probably the hardest I've had to I had to rewrite I had to flip basically 2 episodes of Rift Rats around
Oh,
based on a decision that, Hannah made as, Reagan.
Reagan.
There was a moment where it's a sci-fi, everyone, sorry, Rift Rats. They're
Rift
escaping.
Rats is our space season with Hannah Fagerbaki and me and Jasmine Chong, and it was great.
It's a really fun one, but there is a moment where they get, cornered by the Plutonians, which are like the space barbarians. And in my head, the things I were trying to lead the party towards was make the jump to hyperspace and get away after clearing out the fighters, and then there would be an encounter on an icy planet when the engine ran out of fuel because it had been hit. And what they did instead was bum rushed the Plutonian vessel, uh, and instead of having an encounter on the planet, they landed in the hangar and had a face-off hostage prisoner exchange, with
Yep.
somebody they weren't supposed to rescue yet,
Yep.
successfully rescued her, bombed the hangar to crap and then ended up on the planet, and then I had to have so that basically the episode was supposed to take place on an ice planet, and the next episode was supposed to be an infiltration episode, and instead they bum rushed the infiltration in the episode prior and then escaped to the ice planet. It was I
It was
was
brutal. That
oh
was
man,
the Soup Brothers. That was the first time the Soup Brothers,
villain, right?
Gabe and Ryan were villains, and they were savage. I like they are so. It's so funny, and I've made fun. I've yelled at them so much about this. Is that they're in every season and they're complete chaos agents, and usually they are allies who are just like barely helping, if not hurting us actively. Like their choices are like, I cut my legs off and then bleed to hopefully lure the rats away. Like that's like the kind of shit that they pull. And the second they were villains, they were like tactical, like let's
How many
kill
actions
a
do I have to
character.
turn? Oh, that's a nat 20. How much damage do I do? Yeah.
Great. I'm going to bring him out from the sky and put my gun to his face and pull the trigger until it stops.
It's
You're just
a,
like,
it's
"Oh
a
my
hard
God."
180 from Gabe and Ryan.
Yes,
Yeah.
truly.
It's a hard one. Still in
yeah,
the same
no,
vein, but just fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm surprised constantly with what George comes up with.
Hey,
For like, I think as like no, I think no, in a good way.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's great.
always like surprised, and I think the other kind of cool thing is that we are all writers and storytellers. So I think especially when Jack and I are doing Blackstone, he Jack, you and I have been in a sketch group and have done improv and sketch together for years and years now.
Yeah,
And I feel like we have such a easy rapport in the sense that we both almost 100% of the time have the exact same idea of what we are doing in a scene together. So oftentimes you and I react the same or know how each other are going to react in a scene as Hank and Chuck
totally.
really effectively, which I think is great because
Well, I think
George
that
will
also
throw
speaks
like
to the fact that we've done 2 of them
yes,
as
it's
well.
true.
But
But
we're in a group, yeah, for sure.
I do think that it was. We talked about this a little last episode, but I think it was really like the sauce when in the first Blackstone when you and I kind of like leaned into the love that Hank and Chuck have for each other as best friends and kind of have that rapport where they really care about each other, and that's kind of like the backbone of the and it became the backbone of every Hero Club season and the most important thing in
What I
any
thought
Hero Club
was
season.
what I thought was super cool, and this is kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier about just like prepping for the characters. Like we do have like if we're the I think Nick, you probably do this every time, but like if you're part of the party, you have like I know you and I have had like full on lunches where all we do is talk about like okay, like where are Hank and Charlie now this season? You know what I mean? And
Yes.
like where are they emotionally? And we do like have meetings about okay, where are they at so that you know that can play out in weird and unexpected ways when George throws situations at us.
Well, yeah, I mean, this time it was really interesting. I mean, it's the first time we've ever done a sequel season, and we're jumping 5 years in time. So you and I basically approached it as if we were coming at the characters for the first time, pretty much, because it was like full new backstories for 5 years of what's
Yeah,
happened to these guys, and it's totally different and really fun. And I really love where we're going with these two guys and how they're kind of like being dragged apart by different forces. I think it's really, really cool and really fun to play. I mean, it's
it's
great
super fun.
playing like such a self-destructive character like Hank this season with you being there as like such a caring friend, but who is completely easy to manipulate and oblivious as far
Yeah,
as like uh with enabling him. It's just like really fun to have those moments.
it's super super fun.
It's a really fun dynamic that exists that we justify with supernatural means, which is
Yes,
cool.
totally.
Totally. Oh my god, same time, totally. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't be same time later in the edit. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
there's a
right.
delay on the
When
Skype.
we're talking, who the
Who
hell
knows?
knows?
Who knows? Well, Jack, we usually like to close out on a favorite D&D memory
Oh, jeez.
with our guests, and this could be from our campaign we played where you were Joe McDermott, or any Hero Club moment you want. But what is a time that you were like, oh fuck yeah, like not, you had that D&D moment where it was like cinematic and dope, and you did it, and you were like, oh my god, that was the moment. That was my Legolas surfing down the staircase into an orc.
Oh my god. Okay, this is not an epic moment on Charlie's part. I just think it's probably my favorite memory of playing D&D is it is Blackstone 1. George, you gave us before like the big final battle, you gave us like a number of magical items, and we took them, used most of them, and I thought like, okay, like we're like a video game, like we're gonna have to use each of these eventually. So there was a moment where I think it was during our like big climactic and dramatic final battle. I remembered that we had one more item left to use, and I didn't know what it did. It was a Fabergé egg, and I used it. And then George, I looked at your face, and I read it, and you did not realize that was still in play. And I think
gave it to you the previous episode. I'd forgotten about it, right?
Oh, it was the previous episode, right? And you didn't realize it was still in play, but you were like, shit, we got to roll with it. You thought we'd use it so much earlier too, because it was clearly for a way more like comical moment.
I thought you'd open it out of curiosity at some point, just to be like, what's it do? Maybe we'll inspect it. And instead, it just went untouched.
I think this probably goes into the category of things you were surprised by. This
maybe this should have been my answer for that. Yeah.
Well, basically, I used the Fabergé egg. I threw it, and then George, you went, oh, Jesus Christ, right, I forgot. And then you had to become a magical being known as Gregory of the Fabergé.
It was like a genie that was released upon the egg breaking.
You were super jaunty and fun in a very dramatic moment, and it was so funny to me. I laughed.
The releasing of a trickster god.
Like intermittent with me being like, Chuck, I'm not going to make it. You gotta get out of there.
You're going to pull through, Hank. You're going to pull through. Hello! Like it was...
Gregory of the Fabergé.
To me, that's the epitome of like D&D and how it can work, and how you're never quite sure what to expect, even though it all kind of depends on math. Like it is. It just, your reaction to realizing that was still in play is maybe one of my favorite things I've ever. And then you having to full on commit to that insane character.
Yes, it is something that would never have been written into a TV show of Hank Blackstone, but
it would have been cut like draft one.
Yeah, it would have been like, what idiot wrote that? You're fired, Tim. Get out. What the hell is that?
Why would you pay this off now?
Yeah, why is this a payoff?
The mechanism
to defeat
saved us.
Yeah,
I mean, it like really did. It became an integral part of us surviving
a blimp crash. Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing because
arguably there would be no Hank Blackstone season 2 without Gregory of the Fabergé.
Yes,
possible.
Because there's a real world where I could have survived in the same way that I did inside of like my mind prison or whatever happened, and you could have died in the blimp crash. Like that could have still happened.
Season 2 could have been Hank trying to find a way to bring Charlie back. That was an option that was on the table for me. For sure.
So crazy, insane that's how it went down. But it went down like that, and we all were like, yeah, gotta do it.
That was really fun.
It's great. Well, Jack, thank you so much for being on Members Only. This has been so much fun.
Yeah,
of course, guys. Super happy to be a part of this thing in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, ditto.
Same.
Where can people find you on social media, and do you have anything to plug?
Okay, social media, Jack Quaid, at Jack Quaid 92 on Twitter. And then in my Instagram is at Jack_Quaid. Okay. I mean, I guess everybody's stuck inside. I'm going to plug this podcast. I'm going to plug +1. It's a rom-com I did. That's available on Hulu.
Really fun.
It's so fun. Good.
I'm also going to plug season 1 of The Boys. That's on Amazon.
Hell yeah.
You know, enjoy
The Boys
yourselves.
is incredible. The Boys is so good. If you haven't watched it already, you gotta check it out. And a lot of people from The Boys are on Paid Back in Spades this season.
Oh, we packed this season full of
Full of
Boys
The Boys.
cast. And I plan to do it more once we're out of this.
Say it again, Nick. What are you saying?
Packed to the gills with boys.
Packed to the gills with boys and the girls of The Boys.
Yes, and once we're done with this whole plague, I plan to have way more of them on because they're all so nice and great, and they're my little family. I love them.
Oh man,
well,
every single one of them has been delightful to meet. So
yeah. Well, Jack, thank you so much, and I think that'll just about do us for this episode of Members Only. Thank you so much
thanks for having me on, guys.
Tuning in, everybody, and check out Hero Club and tell your friends, would you? I mean, hey, everybody's bored in this crappy quarantine. I know we in Los Angeles just got our stay-at-home order bumped up another for a month from today or something like that. So you got 30 days, you got 55 hours of content on HeroClubPodcast.com, and we got a beautiful new website you should check out too. Thanks to
new
Dylan.
website and
go
Hero
ahead,
Club Podcast on Instagram. We post everything there, including Marty's great art and
on Twitter,
videos
Hero Club Podcast.
So check us out and give us a listen.
And one last thing, if you're listening to us on iTunes, leave us a nice little review. You can literally say anything. You can literally say, the poo-poo man made me want to go to Spain or whatever. But maybe don't say that. Now that I said that, we're going to have a lot of 5-star reviews with that exact.
The poo-poo man want to go to Spain?
That just came out of my ass. But that really helps us.
As great job. We love the podcast.
Oh yeah. But that really helps us get this out there further. And yeah, stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, everybody stay safe, and check back in next week for a new episode of Hank Blackstone Paid Back in Spades.
Featuring Haley Joel Osment.
Oh yeah.
A mystery character whose name has been thrown around a couple of times in both Blackstone seasons. So
you are going to love him.
Probably my favorite episode of the season. It is so good. I can't wait to hear it. All right. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Hero Club, members only. Glad to have you. This is where we talk about all the things that we don't get to say on the show, 'cause that's not our thing. Welcome to Hero Club, members only.